Thank you. My career in broadcasting started when I was 14 years old at an all-boys Catholic school in Green Bay, Wisconsin. End of my freshman year, our student-run 10-watt radio station was holding tryouts for the next year's play-by-play job. And I tried out. Now, we were taught by nuns and priests and lay people, and they were going to be the judges after all these auditions. There were about 25 guys trying out. And so I grabbed that cassette microphone, and they were showing a film up on the blackboard. And they said, give us a couple minutes, and then you can go. So I'm watching what's going on up there, and our team was the Premontre Cadets, and we're on defense. There's a fumble. It looks like we've recovered, and our guys begin to celebrate on the field. So as they're celebrating, and I'm talking in this cassette microphone, I say, instead of saying, they're jumping up and down for jubilation, they were, as I said, jumping up and down in ovulation. Now, I can tell you, as a 14-year-old, I did not know what that meant. And I'm not sure in my 50s if I still know what that means, but my career was off and running. I am honored beyond words to be here. You accept awards like this, not because of really what you've done, but the people along the way that have helped pave the way for what you've become on this wonderful journey. My dad was in Major League Baseball with the St. Louis Cardinals. He was the PR director. So when I was 6 and 7 years old and on up, I would go to spring training at Al Lang Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. I got to go with him to all the Cardinal games at Busch Stadium on Sundays after church. We would have breakfast up there, and here came Jack Buck, and here came Vin Scully, and all Bob Prince, the voice of the Pittsburgh Pirates, would come into that broadcast area and have breakfast and sit down and say hello to my dad, and I got to see these giants in the broadcasting business. I sat in the back of the booth of Harry Carey and Jack Buck when I was 8, 9, 10 years old in St. Louis, and then my dad went to the Green Bay Packers, and he was with the Green Bay Packers for over 35 years. And I got to work in the press box when I was 11, 12, 13 years old and got to see the greats in our business. So I've been incredibly lucky to be exposed to those kinds of people over the years. And my dad was my first mentor. He was the sports editor of the student newspaper at Marquette University in Milwaukee. So he was a great mentor indeed. I went to the University of Kansas, where Tom Hedrick, the first voice on radio of Super Bowl I on CBS radio, was the voice of the Kansas Jayhawks, and he took me under his wing, and I got a chance to learn from one of the best, and he guided me through those 4 years at KU. My first job at the age of 22 was in the NBA as the play-by-play voice, radio and TV, of the Kansas City Kings, and when they moved to Sacramento, I became the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs at 24. So my life has been blessed. I have been more lucky than talented by a far margin. I've had these people that have meant so much to me. A couple are here tonight that I want to introduce. Along the way, I have been lucky enough to be a network announcer for Fox and CBS and TNT. And a guy that I have been in business with, my agent here from New York, who has engineered these deals, Michael Glantz is here from ICM, and Brian Jacobs, who has been so instrumental, both of them, in what they've done. But Michael and I have been together for over 25 years. And he has been absolutely wonderful to me. The only thing I ever wanted to do in this business was radio network play-by-play. When I grew up and listened on staticky radios, I heard the voice of Lindsey Nelson and Pat Sheridan and these great voices, Jim Simpson, and these people on the Mutual Broadcasting System and NBC Radio, later Jack Buck and Hank Stram on CBS Radio. And I thought, how in the world would I ever be lucky enough to get a job doing network national radio play-by-play? That was my dream. And Howard Deneroff, who is here from Westwood One, fulfilled my dream by hiring me to be Monday Night Football voice. I've done 8 Super Bowls and 5 Final Fours, going into my 10th year in Monday Night Football. And I tell Howard every time I put on that headset how lucky I am to be working for him and doing something that I've always dreamt of. Like I said, this is a team award. And the best team I'm with is right down here. I want to introduce my family. They have come over from all over the country. Abigail is here. She lives in New York and loves her life. And she went to nearby Furman and is about the happiest girl I know, with always a perpetual smile on her face. She's our oldest girl. Our middle daughter is Haley, who was married 2 years ago, and she is pregnant with her first child, which means that in November I'll become a grandpa, and I'll be married to a grandma, which I'm very excited about, and she's going to be a wonderful mother. Olivia is our baby girl, and I told her one thing: do not, for God's sakes, do not get into broadcasting, and that's exactly what she did. She went to the Grady School at the University of Georgia, and she was hired by Fox Sports while she was a senior, doing sideline for SEC games, going to college on the weekdays, and then finishing up her senior year at Georgia. And she was hired by ESPN at 22, where she still works to this day. But the biggest moment is 2 weeks away in her life, when she will be married. So we've got all kinds of things going on in our family. And our son, who is our baby, is Robert, and he is a senior at the University of Denver. He'll be a senior, rising senior this fall. Quick story: took him as a little guy when he was about 10 years old to a game I was doing in Cleveland with the Patriots and the Cleveland Browns. And in those meetings with the New England Patriots, he was going to meet Tom Brady. And I said, Rob, when you go up to Tom Brady, say, "Hi, Mr. Brady, I'm Robert Harlan, and I've got 3 older sisters like you do." And so sure enough, Brady walks in, and his kindness is always on display, and he looks everybody in their eye, and he finally gets over to Robert in the corner. Robert stands up and goes, "Hi, Mr. Brady, I'm Robert Harlan, and I've got 3 sisters, older sisters like you do." And Brady looks at him and says, "Robert, I've got 3 older sisters like you say, and now they all work for me." So to be the baby raised by these girls has been some accomplishment, but there's not a prouder father in the world than I am of my son. And then if you've ever heard the expression, behind every successful man there is a surprised woman, no one is more surprised than my wife tonight. I guarantee you, for 31 years we've been together. She agreed to be induced between my games that I was broadcasting, induced labor, so that we could have all 4 of our kids and I would not miss a birth. I'd do a game, I'd fly home, I'd pick her up, we'd go to the hospital, we'd have the baby. I went out and got a bag of burgers, we had a milkshake, we brought the baby home, I went back on the road again, and we started all over again. And we've got these 4 great kids right here. But if ever an angel walked the earth, it is my wife, who has been with me, and the most wonderful support that I could possibly ask for. And I dedicate this award to her tonight because of what she's meant to our family and how she's kept it together. A lot of people have mentioned this tonight. Adrian mentioned it. Our families are the backbone of why we're able to do what we're doing and enjoying it so much. As you can see, I've been blessed beyond measure. I love my family and I love my job. Dave Gorin, thank you so much for having us. We've enjoyed this weekend. It's been a pleasure meeting you. Winston-Salem, thank you for being such a gracious host and such a wonderful place to visit. I hope we have many more trips back here. You know, I've got unmeasured humility tonight. I'm in the presence of greatness. Thomas Boswell, who I've read for my whole life, along with Hoops and Bob Ryan. And to be among these greats, along with the guys that I've worked with in this business, Eric Reed, and the first call I got was from Brad Sham, who is the 12-time winner in Texas. That's more than Frank Gleber and Vern Lundquist. And then Wes and Pete Pranik and all these wonderful guys that I've been a part of, watching their careers grow side by side through the years. It's a very special place in your heart when your peers give you this kind of recognition. And my heart is full tonight with gratitude. Thank you very much.